I need a drink before I start this. Hold on a second. Ugh. Garbage! Just like this fucking show was. Welcome to the review that never was. I'm your host, Zeke the Geek. Whatever. Let's just get straight into it. Ugh. Netflix goes and does it again by just missing what makes anime and good. What's his name? Yasuke. They pronounce his name weird. They pronounce his name offbeat for some reason, so it kind of makes it even hard for me to remember the fucking title of the show when it's written out. Yasuke. Okay, yeah, there we go. Yasuke. Wasted opportunity, wasted potential. It was not what I expected. It should not have been this hard to make a black samurai anime. It's been done before. Afro Samurai, which was like the length. Oh no, it was 10 episodes. This was 6 episodes, but it's been done before. I'm not a big fan of Afro Samurai, but like I did enjoy it enough. It did have it had a simple enough, plot, a revenge plot. I'm not saying like Yasuke had to be something complex. It could have been something simple, but actually no. That's the problem. It tried to go complex. Okay, let me summarize what the plot plus. Let me get down to the synopsis. So like you got a black samurai Yasuke, who like is in Japan. Who's in Japan and like he's not really accepted much because like they only see him as a servant. But okay, no, there's a problem right there. No one really cares that he's black except like just one dude that just hates him, because like and not even because like he's black, like, but because because he's not about the old ways. He's more about progression, and because he's Nobunaga's favorite, and like it's pettiness with this guy and it's jealousy. It's not so much a thing to his color of his skin, like it's for the fact that he's not one of them in his way, not one of them, but in his context, whereas not one of them is just no, not their color and not a full fledged samurai and not of the old traditions, because this character could dislike anybody else. Like I think he dislikes the female samurai, which is another thing that's not the old ways that Nobunaga takes upon himself to progress on. But yeah, like his blackness doesn't really factor into like this show. At least in Afro Samurai, that like and no, actually in Afro Samurai it didn't really I shouldn't be comparing. I should be focused on nitty gritty. All right, so Yasuke is it. The flashbacks they have in this show, why couldn't it just been that? Why couldn't we just see our main character Yasuke go from servant to samurai to black samurai to Nobunaga's favorite to like this big great war? Like they show this big psychic robotic samurai mishmash war in the first scene of the first episode. It had me confused why to start off something like that. But it did have me a little bit interested and intrigued. Like, ooh, this is not what I was expecting, but it looks unique. It looks, I mean, it's things I've seen before, but it looks interesting. I was like, maybe, like, I was thinking, like, maybe, this is on what's it called? This is foreshadowing, and then like we're gonna go back to where it actually starts, and then we're gonna lead back up to this. But no. That's just a flashback of Yasuke's past. Of course, that's what his flashback is. But and like I'm thinking like okay, and because like it's gonna show like two stories. His personal story of his past and like how how that intertwines with like whatever adventure he's doing in the present. But no, it doesn't. Like when they when they do the flashbacks, it just like shows him not being disliked by this asshole who doesn't like him because I guess because he's black, but it doesn't really hold much water. And like his relationship with this female samurai, and like no, I can't say any relationship with Nobunaga. Like Nobunaga just likes him because he whooped this guy's ass, and like now he's like in his command. And like that was that's what that was one of the questions I wrote down in my notes when I was watching this. Like, why does Nobunaga like consider him like special? Like, yes, he's black, and that's and like he can fight. That's yours. That surprises. But like, what makes him, his right hand man? What makes him so loyal? What I don't really know anything about Yasuke. Like where, like when he says his actual African name, like I was thinking like, oh, maybe we're gonna see like where he came from, how he came to be here, and then like what he's doing here, and then how that affects him to the present. But no, they just focus, not even really focused. Like in the flashbacks, it's just random clips. Like one part, it's just like this guy that hates him, and then like this building up with this relationship with this female samurai, and then like Nobunaga says like, yeah, you did a great job, Yasuke. I'm a party for you, and then we go to this war, and then like he kills the female samurai because like it turned out she was a traitor, but like they kind of had a thing together. Yeah, so it's kind of sad. Like so it's kind of like the whole thing is still like that. Like these are pieces of a possible better of a better story, but it's not the story. It's like I said, it's just flashbacks. The actual story is about a girl with special psychic powers who this daimyo character, like this villain who we don't know shit about, who just wants power from this girl. So Yasuke has to protect her. Doesn't really have to protect her. No, there's no obligation other than the fact that like he just felt like it was honorable to do at first. I mean, he was against it at first, and rightfully so. Like he's supposedly, I think he's still a wanted man. Even in like he wasn't wanted man, he's still a black man in 16th century Japan. Of course, that's like hard enough to like navigate through the world like that, and he was lucky to find a village that like doesn't really care about that shit. But I mean that's kind of also his problem. They don't like really work into the his race into any kind of theme or message. I'm not saying the story has to be great to incorporate a theme or message or anything like that, but like when it is addressed, it kind of feels left out of field. Like he's black. I was like, yeah, so like you went this whole show like not addressing that, but then not addressing that. So it feels like, oh, maybe this show is gonna do something a little bit more clever, maybe something smarter. I don't know, something different. But then it points out and then tries to be the show that you think it's gonna be, but then doesn't go all the way. It, like I said, it's only one character that goes out this guy's way to like treat him. He always says like, "You'll always be a servant." He just says that all the fucking time. He was like, "You'll never be one of us. You'll always be a servant," and shit like that. And it doesn't do anything. It doesn't impact Yasuke. He doesn't feel anything when he says that. Hence, like you don't feel anything when when we hear it says on. You're not like, oh, you shouldn't have said that. Like no, it's just like okay, and like nothing comes about that. So God, this story. This little girl is like her character doesn't even fit in this like kind of timeline. And like in the 16th century, she feels like someone out of the 21st century. She's like a modern character. Like I don't know if it was the voice acting. No, yeah, it was a bit of the voice acting. Just kind of threw me off. I need a drink. A bit of the voice. I must have drunk the anime. But yeah, the voice acting kind of like just threw me off. Her character just not matched, especially when you're first introduced. When she's introduced, she's shown as like a sickly little girl, and the reason being that like her power is just like getting out of control and it's like it's impacting. But like right after the first episode, like right then she's healthy. From then on, and what starts and like that's big factor because what starts the adventure is that like. She's like Yasuke is supposed to transport her to a doctor to help her with her illness, with her powers and stuff like that. But then like to the second episode when she's healthy, it's then like I'm thinking like, okay, wait, what's the goal then? She's healthy, she doesn't need a doctor, so like what's the adventure? What's the journey? And and it's not like just me. The character there's a little boy little kid samurai. I'm getting to him the reason I'm not addressing names is because like the show barely addresses names, so I'm just gonna call special girl this girl and boy and there's a magical girl and this boy samurai. So boy samurai even points to us like, oh, you're not sick anymore. It's like and I'm like, yeah, she's not sick anymore, so we don't really have a plot anymore, do we? I mean, like, there's things happening, but like, there's no goal anymore. The goal was to get her to the doctor, and they still do that. But like, then like they throw in like, oh, the doctor's name is someone that Yasuke knows, and like okay, he can train her. He can train her to utilize her powers. Why wasn't that just stated to begin with? Why did she have to be sick? Like, because that literally went nowhere at the end of episode 1. After episode 1, she's healthy as a bird. She's like and she's got powers and she's got powers and like wait and like there's no even need to take her to the doctor like to like train her utilize it because like before they see the doctor she seems to be completely in control of her powers. First time using it she seems to be really talented and knows how to use this shit. So when they get to the doctor and like he's supposed to like train her or something like that, I mean there's no training, of course. There's not even a montage. Like she just demonstrates her powers, and like the doctor just falls down to his knees, like, oh, "Okay, you eclipse me. I can't train you." What was the fucking point then? Why did she have to be transported here? Like, okay, like what was the whole point of her being sick if she was going to be healthy, and like her bringing to a doctor who also since has similar powers to her if he wasn't going to train her? What is the motivation? What is Oh my god. I'm just scraping off the icing off this cake. Turd cake. What the hell am I doing? When I say this thing had missed opportunities, missed potential, like there's not enough focus on Yasuke, obviously. And the little boy samurai that I talked about earlier, like he's the first one we kind of follow around. Other than Yasuke, we follow him like afterwards, and like this is like our introduction of this village and stuff like that. And you're thinking like like he's gonna be part of the journey because he's going on about like I'm gonna be a samurai one day, and like he's introduced trying to attack Yasuke, who's an actual samurai, the black samurai as they call him. Like who's on fought with Nobunaga and stuff like that. So like he's a big fucking deal, and he have this kid attack him on a daily basis, as he says, as practice, and like he and Yasuke is taking it upon himself to like this is kind of his training. You're thinking, oh, he's gonna be like his little sidekick or something like that. He's gonna come along with him on this adventure, like to save whatever, like in whatever. But no, he's not. He's not in the rest of the show. Like it's. Like once this kid comes across the little girl sickly, and like and it comes down to like the little girl's guardian, who another character that just gets completely like just tossed out like so yeah okay let me focus. So like yeah the little samurai boy like then introduces us to the little girl like who's gonna be in the rest of the show. And then, like, we're also introduced to, like, the guardian or the mother, if, like, I'm guessing. So we didn't get to know much about her, so I don't even know if it's, like, an actual biological mother or a guardian, whatever the fuck. But, like, she plays an instrument. She had a name. And, like, the boy suggests that, like, to the mother or guardian, whatever, that, like, you take the girl up to the doctor, like, to go, well, I mean, no, to see the doctor is her idea, but like he suggests that go see this black man named Yasuke. He because like he's a boatman, like he knows the river. He could take you guys up there in 2 days rather than like going on foot and like get there in a month. So like this gets the adventure starts rolling. This gets the plot rolling. But like Yasuke refuses. Like, no, it's too dangerous. I can't do this, and I gotta stay low because I'm a black man in 16th century Japan, and like I've killed my master and stuff like that. But like eventually it happens because like they were gonna go without him anyway. But like he's like, no, because like I don't want that on my conscience that you die and I could have did something. So he comes with them like on their journey like down the river, and like this is when we meet our first adversaries. We meet a shaman, mecha suit. A woman with a scythe that should not exist in this time, and a Russian werebear. Let me say it again. A shaman, a mech suit, a woman with a scythe that should not exist in this timeline, and a Russian werebear. I don't know what world this takes place in. There's not much established. That's another thing. There was like text at the beginning of the show. when a show or movie or any kind of media like starts out with text, it's kind of hard to get bought in. Like you like because visual representation, visual media. Who the fuck wants to read? But like I mean that's kind of subjective. Like not all stuff like that. Or like that starts off with text. Like, but it kind of shows like like a bad sign that like stuff like that. And like the text didn't really go anywhere. I remember like I didn't even like get to actually finish like reading the last sentence. But like I come to realize it didn't matter. Anything that it like the text that said doesn't matter because it doesn't come into play because it's more focused on like the flashback parts. But like I said, that's in very few. Like so that was even wasted. Anyway, back to like the shaman, the mech suit, and the woman with the scythe and the bear Russian girl. They're the adversaries. Like they seem like the most unique characters and like interesting, out of place in whatever the fuck this like this world is. But fuck it, they look fun. And like for a while, like and like there's just not much into them because they kind of just take a backseat to this like evil priest. Yeah, there's an evil priest in 16th century Japan, like when Christianity wasn't really going there. I'm sorry, I know I shouldn't really be like bringing. No, wait a second. If you, I should like I can't be held against if I'm bringing in real world history when this show was supposed to be based off of a real world a samurai, a black samurai. I'm not sure if his actual name was Yasuke. I haven't done the research yet, but like there was an actual black samurai back in like the old Edo period of Japan. That's kind of what got a lot of people invested in this. They was like, oh shit, yes, we're gonna like kind of like back when with what's it called the Black Cowboy, like they like a movie that started Denzel Washington. That had like oh yeah, there was black cowboys back then, and this movie's gonna like betray that. That kind of got that kind of hooked the audience in, and then it was good that it hooked them because it was kind of a good decent movie. Same thing with this. When you hear Black Samurai, that's gonna reel a lot of people. But I think that's kind of also the downside is that it plays the black card every time when something like not every time, but like when a media used it might be anime, TV, movie, or TV show, whatever, uses like black uses like black representation like to get your interest, but then doesn't deliver on that, then it shows like you just used like what I like to call use the black card. Black Lightning did this. Annie, but like Annie turned out to be good. Black Lightning didn't really go hard into like what you could do what a black superhero does. Is on like what that represents. Luke Cage did that a whole lot better. And I'm getting off track. But this show was off track. God damn it. The opening music was nice. That like I never skipped that. Like it had like some real nice, chill melancholy. It had me relax, sit back and like, oh yeah. The visuals didn't really match, but like I was just listening to the music. Like half the visuals were kind of nice, but like the other half were just kind of random shit. Just the characters just like fumbling onto the ground, walking around. You see Nobunaga just looking up to the sky or something like that, and you just it's not. I'm running out of time. So yeah, the Guardian the Guardian like is supposedly dead. They're like, and they're on like question, like you got the little girl asking like, "Let's go find my mother." It was like, and then like Yasuko's just like I couldn't find her. It's like, well, we'll go find her. Like, no, she's dead. Like, well, we don't really know that. It was like, like there's no real fact. And no one really went to look for her. I'm assuming, yeah, of course she's dead because like, she got her fucking arm shot off. But I don't know, like. The second and third episode was really trying to make it seem like, oh, she might be dead, she might be alive, but like then like after that it's like, okay, like I guess we assumed she was dead. Why'd you bring up that thought? It's like if it wasn't really gonna like explore it, like at least like if you're bringing up this question if she's dead or not, go and explore for the answer. Why didn't maybe come across her body, go look for her body or something like that? And this could have gave the girl a little bit more motivation to go on like with this journey that like her mother brought upon herself to go find this doctor. But like no, she just wants to find a doctor just because her mother said so. If she was still sick, that would have been a nice motivation. But like I think even Yasuka says like, why do you want to see this doctor? Because my mother said so. Like, but what do you want? The mother's gone. The mother's kaput. She's out of the show. Yeah, she just uses her powers like I said. There's no real point to see the Doctor other than just to introduce another character who also seems to have a connection with Yasuke, but that's not really discussed and delved into. Like he was in the first scene of the first episode, who was like utilizing a lot of psychic powers, but like that's it. We don't see him finding next to Yasuke like in that flashback or anything like that. Just shooting a bunch of arrows and it looks cool, but like, what's the connection? Why even say they have a connection if we don't see a connection or I'm told about a connection? I think it was said for like maybe a minute, but that's about it. I think like he was just in Nobunaga's army or something like that, but like he was not shown in those flashbacks in like by his side. Just this female samurai and this guy that just hates him because he's a servant. You'll always be a servant because you're black or something like that. it There's no connections, there's no relationships. There, like the goal, like it just keeps flip flopping. It drops in the minute, it drops in the first episode. So then like the show kind of has to like make up for its round, trying to come up with a new goal. But then like that goal doesn't really hold much water because you just dropped the first goal. So like how can I trust you with a second goal that you just had to spur of the moment? The villain, I don't know anything about this daimyo, just some other esper or psychic or whatever the fuck these magic users call themselves, just wants more power. That's just the, I guess that's just the theme. Power equals power because like that's just seems the goal. Like Nobunaga said it, and then this evil villain demon whatever says it. That one guy that like hated Yasuke, he comes back. I mean, like seems to be possessed by a demon. Like or like he has demonic powers and stuff like that, and then but like his character doesn't change. Like there's nothing really different about him except like I guess a power boost. He just does the same fucking thing when he was human than as he is now as a demon. That you'll always still be a servant, and again, it doesn't impact him. Like this show doesn't impact anything. It's a waste, and it's coming from Studio Mappa, who has experience in making the animation is just clutter. I'm just so glad there's 6 episodes. I was even thinking to myself, it could have been a movie to make it shorter. Because I'd rather waste an hour and a half than 3 hours. And I'm going to stop wasting my time on anything. I need a drink. The fuck?